This is Northport Now, where we bring you everything happening in and around our city. From our Egg-travaganza to the Greenest Citizen Award, we've got you covered. Plus, we'll be recapping the latest City Commission meeting. Here's what you need to know this week. Spring is here, and Northport Parks and Recreation is celebrating with its annual Egg Hunt Egg-travaganza. Bring the whole family to the City Center Front Green on Saturday, March 21st for an evening full of springtime fun, egg hunting excitement, activities, and sweet surprises. There will be 2 egg hunts in one night. For kids ages 3 to 7, the adaptive egg hunt begins at 6 p.m., followed by ages 8 through 12 starting at 8:15. Don't forget your flashlights and headlamps. Our sponsor Geico local office in Northport will be providing bags to the first 150 egg hunters who check in. Be sure to bring your own basket as a backup. We'll see you there. The city is now accepting nominations for the annual Greenest Citizen Award. The award honors individuals who make intentional choices to create a more sustainable household, neighborhood, or broader community. It could be through planting native species, conserving water, reducing waste, supporting pollinators, or promoting environmental awareness. The winner will be honored with a special plaque and tree planting at City Hall on Arbor Day. Submit your nomination now through March 16th at northportfl.gov/greenest. The city has launched a new blog series as part of its 2026 Community Engagement Plan. Each quarter, we're focusing on a specific topic that reflects what our residents have told us matters most to them. In Quarter 1, the theme is trust, transparency, and government accountability. Quarter 2 will be all about environmental resiliency and flooding. Visit northportfl.gov/blogs to find in-depth posts and educational articles about all these topics. Our whole campaign is a direct result of your input. The goal is simple: to make city operations more understandable, accessible, and transparent, and to demonstrate that your voice shapes the work we do. Check out northportfl.gov/blogs to read more. It's almost time for another household hazardous waste drop-off event. Stop by Public Works between 8 a.m. and noon on Saturday, March 28th, and drop off your hazardous materials free of charge. We'll be accepting items such as paint, tires, pool chemicals, auto products, pesticides, and more. To find the entire list of accepted and unaccepted material, please visit northportfl.gov/HHW. The event will be located at 1850 West Price Boulevard. And if you can't make it, at the end of the month, Sarasota County plans to open its Chemical Collection Center on Jackson Road in Venice, where any county resident can take accepted items for free disposal. Learn more at scgov.net/solid waste. It's time for more commission meeting highlights, where City Manager Jerome Fletcher takes us through the latest City Commission decisions and what they mean for the public. Here to tell us more about the Commission's meeting on March 10th is City Manager Jerome Fletcher. Hey, Jerome, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Okay, so the commission approved a master plan for a personal storage space for recreational vehicles and boats in Northport. We heard a lot at the meeting about how this was reviewed by city staff, and the commission did approve it with a few conditions. They want to use Florida-friendly vegetation. They want to make sure it complies with the fire code. But can you talk a little bit about how developments like this go through a review process, to make sure it's consistent with our code? We heard that the developer held a neighborhood meeting, and then ultimately it gets to the commission to make a decision. But talk us through how that process kind of works.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first thing to start off with is the need for that sort of facility in our community. We are in a community where that is going to be heavily used based on, our proximity to the water and how people travel in this area. So the need has always been there, and it's great to be sort of, handling that in the most responsible way. And then you need to start talking about the property rights of the owner, and they have the right to do that. And they have to follow our code, our ULDC, our Unified Land Development Code, in order to make sure that we then move in the right steps to follow the law. Those are probably some of the most important steps. But then when you talk about neighborhood community meetings, you also have to remember we have advisory boards that also happen before they get to the commission, so that this process is heard and vetted through the multiple different parties that are going to be impacted by this particular project. So when you look at the commission and the final decision that they have, it is really more of a layered process That includes following the law, making sure that you're engaging and active with the neighborhood, making sure that you also have subject matter experts who are considered such on the advisory board. And then, along with staff recommendations, the commission then chimes in to make the best decision for the community.
So it's a really detailed process that we go through. It's not just a yes or no decision, right?
It's detailed and it's never as quick as anyone thinks it is.
Right. Okay, so speaking of advisory boards, we also heard at the meeting a recommendation from the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. It was about e-bikes and e-motos and motorized scooters. They had some recommendations about park signage and enforcing the speed limit, but this is a very hot topic. There's been a lot of discussion about these kind of vehicles. And it's also a great example of how our advisory boards bring a recommendation like this to the commission for a discussion. What did they ultimately decide in this issue?
So the conversation is rooted in safety. Let's start there, because everyone wants everyone who are operating the vehicles to be safe, the e-bikes. And that's important because they're so popular. They're everywhere. And people just don't pay enough attention. People don't pay enough attention to people who are in regular cars, let alone, motorcycles, e-bikes, and our smaller vehicles that they need to pay extra attention to. So when the advisory board brings, again, items to the commission and they've sort of vetted through their process, in this instance, the state is still sort of figuring out the laws for these types of e-bikes. And while they didn't make a definitive decision on this, they did want, and they should want, us to do more education, more outreach, and more communicating to our community and figuring out how can we both let them cohabitate together with them using them. We do not want to take them away. We think that, of course, is not the right thing to do, but you just want to make sure that they operate safely. And that's coming through inclusive conversations.
I know police department has been doing a lot of education for our youth, especially in the teenagers that we see out there on these vehicles.
Yes, we've had a couple of accidents even on some of our city properties that have happened, which have been very unfortunate. But, without the right rules or maybe even the right safety equipment, we've got to do better.
So lastly, speaking of youth and young people, we had some special guests in attendance at the meeting. Those were the STAR students. STAR is a leadership program for high school students to foster civic education and involvement. They were at the meeting this week. I know you and the commissioners got to meet with them also after the meeting for a little lunch session. What was that like?
It was great. They didn't know a lot about government. The two young ladies I sat beside, during the lunch, they did sit and see a couple of agenda items and several public comments, by the way, and they had some questions about that. So we talked about the difference of our type of government versus other types of government. We talked about, the commission mayor forum that we have where the mayor is rotated annually, and then the city manager who does the day-to-day operations of the city. So they were sort of intrigued on that end. They were also intrigued on, how various different degrees and disciplines can be applied just about anywhere in the city, which was awesome. So they were very young. They were very great. And I thought that they were engaging. And when you learn more about government, you just learn how vast it is and how it can mean so many different things to so many different people. So, but they were awesome. It was a great experience. And it was, I definitely will remember it for a long time.
Oh, that's great. It's great to see young people getting involved. I know we have our NPU teen program, so we've got a lot of youngsters getting involved in local government, which is great. All right. Thanks, Jerome, for being here, and we'll catch you with the next commission update next time.
All right. Thanks for having me.
You can visit northportfl.gov/meetings to view the agendas for upcoming meetings or watch videos of any meeting you missed. We'll be bringing you more highlights after the next commission meeting later this month. Thanks for tuning in to Northport Now. Be sure to check out the show notes for links and more details on everything we covered today. Have a great week, Northport, and don't forget to stay informed, stay engaged, and stay connected.